of why we invited you here, and thank you very much for accepting the invite to be here. I just want to take this opportunity to send a message to the nation from our father, who wants to just say thank you for all the love and support. He appreciates that and all the messages of well wishes as well, and he hopes to see you guys soon. Mr. Mani.
Thank you very much. Okay, greetings everyone. As you've heard the choir that just started here, this was just a taste of things to come. We're hoping for one hell of a nice day on the 14th when we do the prayer and the Thanksgiving for His Excellency President Zuma. So I've got just a short statement here to read, just to give you a contextual background and to set the tone for what's going to happen on the 14th. I've got copies here. We'll circulate them after. Electronic versions are also available. I'll also send those out immediately after I've read this, and then we can get the show on the road. His Excellency President Zuma, a symbol of oppression for the people of South Africa, will be welcomed and prayed for by various churches of all denominations, African spirituality, and traditionalists. His Excellency President Zuma is loved by an overwhelming majority of the people of South Africa, and all of them have been very worried about his incarceration. Some were concerned that horrible things might happen to him whilst he was in that incarceration. People of South Africa have not forgotten that His Excellency President Zuma survived attempts in his life, including poisoning. So in fact, some of them were worried that he mustn't be poisoned in that incarceration. So people of South Africa are still grieving that their hero, a true freedom fighter, a man that sacrificed spending time with his family, was dealt with a severe and unjust blow by the judicial system of this country and the democracy that he fought for so tirelessly. People of South Africa have vivid memories of how the Constitutional Court was clear and unequivocal that for President Zuma, normal procedures that apply to everyone else will not apply to him. Some well-funded NGOs, who generally posture as defenders of our democracy, were not there to remind the Constitutional Court and the people of South Africa that the Constitution of South Africa guarantees equality before the law for everyone, something that President Zuma did not enjoy. For President Zuma, the Constitutional Court decided to characterize his case as extraordinary and went into arbitrary grounds where his rights to trial were actually waived. When others of offenses of similar or worse than his, like P.W. Botha for instance, were given civil remedies for the civil crimes that they were accused of, as prescribed by the law. But for President Zuma, no civil remedies were given to him. He was given a punitive sentence without even an option of a fine. Where is equality in that? As if the incarceration that he has already suffered is not enough, other hateful right-wing organizations are still not happy. They want him back in the cold cells as of yesterday. The sober decision taken by the Commissioner of Correctional Services, based on medical reports and various other considerations provided for by the law, are being challenged. This means any decision taken in favor of His Excellency President Zuma has to be deemed irrational and must fall to be set aside. So South Africa can't just accept that something right must happen in the name of President Zuma. If it happens, it's irrational. The foundation has been observing this mistrust on President Zuma, which has been inculcated in the public psyche, particularly by the mainstream media. It's actually a traceable observation that starting at Pietermaritzburg High Court, where Judge Pillay, a Constitutional Court judge who was presiding in the case in Pietermaritzburg, she didn't believe a medical certificate produced by the lawyers of His Excellency President Zuma, to such an extent that she ordered a warrant of arrest in the event President Zuma was not able to be in court in the next date. This mistrust was repeated again at the State Capture Commission, where Deputy Chief Justice Zondo himself undertook to meet the doctors of His Excellency President Zuma following his own assessment of the medical report that was given to him by the lawyers of President Zuma. He said he wanted to go and talk to the doctor himself. Why is President Zuma so not trusted? Now recently, the order given by Judge Kuhn also provided space for the second guessing of a medical report by no less than a military hospital. Surgeons that deal with heads of state and vetted for all kinds of infiltration were to have their homework marked by some individual doctor whose record remains a mystery to us even as we speak. Why should President Zuma be subjected to such disdain and humiliation? When Zuma? The NPA could not even wait for the report of the military hospital. They already appointed their own doctor to examine President Zuma. By the grace of God, their shoddy attempts were not fruitful. God protected His Excellency President Zuma from the busybodies that wanted to get access to the nitty-gritty of his medical history. When Zuma? It is against this background that the National Welcome Prayer is happening. This prayer will be about thanking God for the sterling work that He has done thus far in protecting His Excellency President Zuma. This prayer will also be about asking God to continue protecting President Zuma and keeping him safe from the dark forces that want to finish him off. The foundation is convinced that President Zuma has unfinished business in helping to truly liberate the people of South Africa. The country is a wreck. The country is deeply divided. The foundation is looking up to its patron, His Excellency President Zuma, to fulfill the historical mission of the organization that lives in his blood, the African National Congress, whose founding mission was to unite the African people. Bantu bagithi hlanganani isitha sisendlini. At the welcome prayer, we hope that more light will be shed in this regard. His Excellency President Zuma is also a politician, so the program will include a political session. Details are still being finalized. The program is still being worked on, and the lineup of speakers is still work in progress. The occasion will take place in KZN at Tekwini, at the place called the People's Park. This is not far from Moses Mabhida Stadium, those that don't know where it is. I think if you find Moses Mabhida Stadium, you will find People's Park, where God's atmosphere will ensure that coronavirus is blown away and not passed on between the attendees. It's going to be sort of in an open area there. The starting time will be around 10 o'clock. Everyone is welcome. There will be no accreditation, so no one is going to be asked to give any accreditation. Everyone is welcome to attend. This is the people's hero, so there will be no restrictions. Everyone is welcome to attend, and we hope that the session will be a very successful session. I will leave it there for now and then check if there are any questions. Thank you very much for coming through. We really welcome your presence here. Us as the foundation, without the media spreading the word around, it will be difficult to reach the millions of people in South Africa and elsewhere. So thank you very much for coming through. I don't know if there are any questions. Yes, ma'am. If you can just introduce yourself. We'll take one question at a time, and so that I don't have to take notes.
Right. My name is Kando, my echo from Day. So will former President Jacob Zuma himself be at the National Day of Prayer? And number two, considering that everyone is welcome, how will they then adhere to COVID-19 protocols?
Thank you. Yeah, look, as to whether President Zuma is going to be there on that day or not, let's just pray that he is there. But the situation is still fluid because President Zuma is still on medical parole. his condition is a fluid condition and so on. So we hope that on the day, situation will be such that the doctors can allow him to be there. So we're hoping for the best. I can't give you a direct answer because we're just hoping for the best for that day. The issue around the lockdown and all of that, as you saw that the graph is going down. We shot up from, it looks almost like a lockdown gets postponed. It was going to be very tough, but as soon as the elections were moved, it looks like the lockdown also moved. The corona also moved, it would appear. I mean, we went from a room that had to be 100 people to 750. We went from crowds outside of 500. We went to a balloon to 2,000 and all of that. So you can see that the situation, even with corona, is quite fluid. So we're playing around the fluidity of the situation. We'll be outside and all of that. So I think whether it's 2000 or 1005 or 2001 and all of that, will still be within reach. But the big thing is that we'll be outside and there'll be social distancing, and we'll encourage people. In fact, let me take this opportunity here to call upon all the attendees to please wear their masks and please make sure that they are 1 meter away from everybody else so that we can adhere to conditions. Don't do this example of media people here that are sitting next to each other. Make sure that you spread out and all of that. So we're hoping for the best, and we think the session will go well.
Does the former president's medical conditions, the conditions of his medical parole, do they allow for him to be outside of the court?
Outside of?
Hospital?
Yeah. Those are the things that will be taken into consideration when that happens. If you see him there, it means they allow. If you don't see him there, it means they don't allow. But for now, we are hoping that that matter will be managed.
And then as part of the political program that you mentioned in your statement, does that mean we're going to see the former president or some more campaigns for the ANC, as you saw in the video that you stated earlier this week? Sorry.
His Excellency President Zuma has got black, green and gold blood. There should never be any confusion in anybody's head that all the things that have happened to him will deter him from supporting the African National Congress. There must never be that confusion in anybody's head. President Zuma, he sleeps the ANC, he eats the ANC, he wakes up the ANC, he's ANC in and out. And in fact, I think the ancestors of the ANC are looking up to him to defend the ANC. Because ANC right now is in ICU. The ANC right now is in a crisis. So the forefathers of the African National Congress are actually looking up to President Zuma to say, we are the only trusted freedom fighter that can bring this movement to the former glory that it used to be. Because right now, it is in tatters.
Just to add on that, yeah. He's also a member of the ANC. He doesn't have to be invited to campaign. He can do it as he wishes.
So he will campaign?
Well, depending on his medical parole and stuff. But I mean, talking about the video message, that doesn't call for him to, like, you know, be invited to do that. He's a black, green and gold, and that's what it is.
If it's not unlawful for President Zuma to campaign, President Zuma will campaign. The only thing that will stop him is if it is unlawful. Yes, Bob. Okay.
Just on that video, do you think that she broke his parole conditions when he began?
How, for instance, how?
Speaking to people.
Why? Why is that a problem?
Wasn't it part of the, I understand it, you just said reason about the lawful. Will it be lawful for him and to campaign?
Why is that? No, look, the issue is whether he can go outside, mix and mingle with people and all of that. Those are the details that will be looked at. But the fact that he can talk to people, you can go to the law, go and check that section 79 on the Correctional Services Act. There's no such a restriction that has been put there. Go and check the law. People just sometimes use common sense, which is not lawful. There's actually no law that prevents him from doing that. The important thing is that when correctional services wants to know his whereabouts, they must know. The important thing is that he must not just disappear out of the country without anybody knowing. Those are the kinds of things. But whether he can go to the supermarket, I'm sure he can do that. Whether he can go to church, I'm sure he can do that. So whether he's in church or he's talking to people, the difference is academic. So I don't think there's a big issue. So people just want to make a mountain out of a mound. Any other question? Yes, ma'am. Just introduce yourself, please. I forgot to ask you as well.
So I'm Clara Bless, I work for Radio France International.
Yeah.
I was wondering if his health allows him to go to the national prayer. Should we assume he will be well enough to go in person to his next appearance in Peter Marisburg High Court?
His Excellency President Zuma is very much looking forward to going to the Peter Marisburg Court. It's very important for him to be there. You must remember it's a criminal case, so any criminal cases must be there physically. So he's really looking forward to being there, and one of the things he's looking forward to be there is to set the record straight. There are many people organizations that have benefited from this arms deal, but they've been shielded all this time. So he can't wait to go and set the record straight, because people are sitting here and blaming him for being corrupt and receiving monies and all of that, things that have not happened. So he can't wait to go there. So he's looking forward, in fact, to be in that Peter Marisburg High Court. Yes, Bob.
Siphamandla Boke from ENCA. I'm covered. Most of the questions have been asked, but to Lucy Stupuzile, because we hardly get an opportunity to hear from her. First of all, how does it feel to have your father back in Kaya? How is he? I know you're not a medical doctor, but you can tell, I'm sure. Number two, I know you are aware that a lot has been said about you regarding the July unrest. Many people have alleged that you are one of the alleged instigators, quote unquote, based on the Twitter account that is said to be belonging to you. How do you respond to what people have been saying about you, saying you contributed in fanning the flames during the July unrest? We will never get an opportunity to ask you this question, so today is the day.
Yeah, what is not going to happen is the presser of the foundation to be turned into her presser. The role that she has played in this presser so far to welcome all of you stops there and nothing further. So she will not be saying anything anymore in this presser. She's just smiling. Any other question?
But we see you.
Please, if you can indulge us, please, just those two questions.
No, she won't.
We request.
No, she won't. She won't. Yes, ma'am.
You say Zuma is looking forward to the event.
I didn't say Zuma. I said His Excellency President Zuma.
President Zuma.
Yes.
Is he going to tell you to defend his name?
No, not to defend his name. He's going to do a tell it all to set the record straight. Whether that becomes defending his name is a consequence of that. But his main brief, his main aim is to set the record straight, put the proper perspective on issues, and tell the truth as it should be told. And tell people of South Africa who got how much and all that. And by the way, letters have been sent to these organizations to say to them, please cooperate. And we have not been getting the expected cooperation from these organizations. By the way, it's not that information that is being requested from them, he doesn't have. We're just going through the motions properly and all of that. So I think, in fact, you as media are failing the people of South Africa yourselves, because I have not seen you giving them sleepless nights, these people, asking them to cooperate. Others have been telling stories about floods that came and just targeted these papers and all of that. And you guys will just sit there and you are actually complicit. You as media, you are complicit in depriving the people of South Africa the truth, because the people that have this information, you are not putting pressure on them to make this information available. That makes you complicit.
But Mr. Manye, one would argue that even former President Jacob Zuma himself is complicit based on what you just said. If he has this information that certain people, companies, organizations, and individuals illegally benefited from the arms deal, why did he sit on that information for more than 20 years? Why did he not take it to law enforcement authorities?
Well, the issue about illegalities and not didn't come from me, didn't come from His Excellency President Zuma. It's the first I hear from you about any illegality. It may very well happen that when President Zuma tells it all and sets the record straight, that even the beneficiaries of those monies didn't get them illegally. The only thing that has happened in this thing is that people just decided that there was irregularity. People just decided that there was some wrongdoing. The fact that you got money doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. So it's all the things that President Zuma is going to explain. Maybe after explanation, we may just come to a conclusion that actually no one did any wrong by receiving any monies and all of that. But the impression created here is that only the bit that is alleged to have come to him is the bit that is alleged to be irregular and all of that. So he'll put the matters into perspective. He has not accused anyone of receiving any monies irregularly. All he is saying is that monies that would have come and all of that, he wants to set the record straight to say from where he sits, this is how it all went down. That's really all His Excellency want to say on that day. On the 14th of October, as everybody know, next week, Thursday, and I don't know, the clergy will actually also explain why Thursday. So it appears Thursday is a serious prayer day, so they'll explain how that works. But I think the important thing is that we don't get distracted. But we're here to talk about the 14th. On the 14th, on that prayer day, people want President Zuma to be strong. People want President Zuma to come back and unite the people of South Africa. People want President Zuma to live for them and all of that. There are people that will not vote until President Zuma says so. So he has a duty and an obligation on his part to make sure that he ensures and encourages people to vote as it were. And he is the one that's going to tell them who to vote for. So he'll be here. He's already done a video in this regard to say what is it that people should do and all of that. So indeed, for us as a foundation, we want to thank the people of South Africa for the outpouring love that they have for President Zuma. That alone lifts him up. So we really hope that on Thursday is going to be a good day next week in KZN.
I assume it's for logistical purposes that it's not happening in Uganda, but in Durban.
Yeah, let's be very clear. It's not in Ingandla. It's not. It's going to be near Moses Mabhida Stadium at the place called the People's Park. That's sorry. Yeah, that's where it's going to be.
The after party will be.
Yeah. Are we all covered? Looks like we are.
Not fine, but people need to do the pension as how it feels to a president Zuma, former president Zuma.
Okay, that part we can just.
We're happy to have him home. He was taken from us very illegally, so we're happy to have him home.
How is it?
That's you see now. Yeah, he's coping with the situation. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for coming. Okay, if you want a hard print is here, electronic. Those that are in the WhatsApp group, I will put it in the WhatsApp group.
Can we be added to the WhatsApp group?
I beg your pardon?
Can we be added to the WhatsApp?
Yeah, but I've made this public and okay. You have my number there. My number is here. Just send me a request or something on my number, and then I'll put you in the WhatsApp group.
Thank you so much, everybody.
But you know that question won't go away.
And the answer won't come.
Won't go away. The sooner you indulge us, the better.
Just keep laughing and smiling.
This is Omega Jembo John Steinhazen, so land the lemon.
So what they did to you.
Man.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we'll see you guys next week.
God willing. Hopefully.
fluid situation.